Yo, how is it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Crucible Brothers. My name is Lionhearts, and today we're going to be talking about why going into Season of the Deep, Peregrine Greaves might become Titan's best exotic. And right off the rip, we have to address one major bit of news. While we were producing this video, obviously the TWAP's been coming out with new season balancing, including a substantial, game-changing nerf to how Shoulder Charge works as an ability. For the entire lifetime of Destiny, going back to Destiny 1, doing a shoulder charge without actually killing someone never consumed your melee energy. But now, starting in Season of the Deep, you will consume a small amount of melee energy when you fail to land a hit with shoulder charge. This is a 15-second cooldown at 0 strength and a 7-second cooldown at 100 strength. And while this is a huge, catastrophic change to the neutral game for Titan movement, it actually does not affect Peregrine Greaves as much as I think people are going to think it does. Because here's the thing, if you can't use shoulder charge for neutral game movement, that means that the only utility left for shoulder charge is to use it to get kills in the Crucible, and Peregrine Greaves allows you to do that in the most efficient way possible, netting you the one-shot on all Guardians, and the ability to actually one-shot every super in the game. This means Peregrine Greaves is now the optimal exotic at all times if you are running shoulder charge, in my opinion. But even before this news, Peregrine Greaves was an incredibly underrated and dominant exotic in my opinion. I personally have mained Peregrine Greaves on Titan for pretty much since the start of Witch Queen, so we're going on over a year now, and it frankly never leaves my inventory. It's useful, it's got great utility, it does things that no other exotic in the game allows you to do, and it's one of the rare few exotics that changes the Titan class at its base. It's effectively a subclass exotic. It gives you a totally new role to play and a very fun playstyle on top of that. So if that interests you at all, make sure you guys take a second, leave a like on the video, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to the channel for more content coming your way. And let's get into what makes this build tick and why it got so much better in Lightfall. Alright, so let's get into what makes this Peregrine Greaves build tick. Here's the basic breakdown of the mods we're going to be using, but first things first, we need to focus on what shoulder charge we're using. Because believe it or not, the 3 different shoulder charges are different in unique ways, and picking one definitely matters in the context of how you use the Peregrine Greaves here. Now, I opt for the Void Sentinel Shield Bash. Overall, I believe this to be the best shoulder charge in the game, because upon final blow, you will be granted an overshield. You combine that with Controlled Demolition, you are spreading volatile and possibly getting chain explosions off of your shoulder charge, resulting in multi-kills for the price of your melee cooldown. However, there are merits to the other 2 shoulder charges. The Solar Shoulder Charge, the Hammer Strike, can get those AoE explosions better via Ignition. This is better if you want to get multis in, say, 6s. However, the biggest thing in holding back Hammer Strike is its damage against supers. One of the best aspects of Peregrine Greaves is that your shoulder charge can one-shot every single super in the game while on Void or Arc. But if you equip Hammer Strike, you cannot one-shot supers with your shoulder charge. For whatever reason, the damage is lower against supers with the Solar Shoulder Charge compared to Void and Arc. I don't know why that is. That's just some wacky Bungie balancing. Why they aren't the uniform, all doing the same damage, I will never know. So really our choice comes down to Arc or Void when it comes to serious building around Peregrine Greaves. And I believe everything in the Void kit is superior to the Arc kit. Let's list out the benefits when you use a Void versus Arc shoulder charge. With the Void shoulder charge, you're going to give yourself an overshield. You're going to spread volatile. Combine that with Echo of Expulsion, and you're going to get volatile explosions on top of Void ability explosions. This creates potential for multi-kills, as I already said. This is very synergistic, and on top of it, if your Peregrine Greaves bugs out, if somehow you don't get the final blow, which does happen, your shoulder charge also suppresses the target that you just hit. So this is very safe. No matter what, you are neutralizing the target in front of you. If you compare that to Arc, what does Arc shoulder charge give you? It gives you a blind. And yes, that AoE blind is really, really nice. It's very disorienting. However, the blind doesn't matter if you're already killing the target that you're going to kneecap in the first place. Other than that, you activate Amplified immediately, which is nice, that speed boost is great, but I don't believe it outweighs the benefits that you get from Void. Overall, I think going into the next season, considering the shoulder charge nerfs that are coming in, Arc Titans are going to switch back to Ballistic Slam. Ballistic Slam with Dune Marchers is still synergistic, it'll still result in its own potential for multis, and it'll be far superior to Arc Shoulder Charge in my opinion, but that's for a different day. Alright, so we've selected our Shoulder Charge, we're going Void, we're going Purple, a superior crayon flavor in my opinion. So how does the build break down from there? Well, we're going to be running Bastion for one of our aspects, Control Demolition for the other. That means we only have 3 fragment slots, so it's very important that we pick the right fragments here. So again, we're going to go with Echo of Expulsion for more Void ability Final Blow explosions. This again, the AoE potential. This also results in AoE potential from our Void Grenades. We're going to go Echo of Lychee. This is a free 10 resilience, and your melee Final Blow will now give you an overshield and start your health regen, so that you're basically full health and overshield after every shoulder charge. And this last slot, honestly, kind of open. I've been running Echo of Exchange for more grenade energy, but honestly, if you can afford the extra recovery on your armor, you should go Echo of Starvation to also proc Devour. For my current armor setup, I can't make that fit for 100 recovery, so I don't run it. But you should if you can. Going over to mods, we really want to synergize our orb creation output, and this is what made Peregrine Greaves go from a borderline S tier exotic to, in my opinion, an S+ tier exotic in Lightfall. The ability to instantly generate an orb of power on your melee final blows with heavy-handed makes Peregrine Greaves incredible. This is borderline guaranteed orb generation similar to Reaper on Hunter. So we're going to take advantage of that. You want heavy-handed, you want melee kickstart for more melee regen. On your Peregrine Greaves, you want double invigoration to regen your melee as fast as possible, and then you have an open slot for, say, a weapon surge, or you can just go triple invigoration if you don't want the weapon surge. Weapon surges aren't really that beneficial. I run them because extra damage is extra damage, but if you don't care about 6% damage, just run the third invigoration so that you get your melee back even faster. On our class item, we want Reaper, best mod in the game, self-explanatory, and then double outreach. So when we put up our barricade, which on Void is also our overshields, we are now getting even faster melee cooldowns. Everything here is about being able to spam Peregrine Greaves as frequently as possible. And once you've got this build online, we can now look at how you actually want to approach playing this in the Crucible. Because I would describe the Peregrine Greaves as one of those very few exotics that turns you into a bona fide pick class. What do I mean by that? Well, you want to use your shoulder charge in opportune moments to secure a single kill as best as you can. Due to the nature of the high aim assist, the magnetism, and the guaranteed nature of the one-shot, Peregrine Greaves can be a very safe way to guarantee you one important kill in the context of things like competitive and trials. Obviously, we also have this set up for the potential for multi-kills based off of void explosions, but they don't happen that frequently. It's a nice side effect, but it's not something you're going to bank on when you hurdle yourself at Mach 1 into a group of enemies. Obviously, on top of that, Peregrine Greaves synergizes really well with swashbuckler weapons. This should be self-evident. You get the melee kill, times 5 swash, you do a lot of damage, that's very cool. I would be remiss, however, if I didn't take a second to talk about some of the drawbacks of Peregrine Greaves. The biggest one being that the exotic can be a little buggy at times. Like I said, I've used this exotic for over a year. I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly, and sometimes you will jump and you will shoulder charge someone and the Peregrine Greaves won't activate. I don't know if this is the case of you're jumping and then shoulder charging so soon that the perk doesn't take time to activate because of like weird server lag, but sometimes you will just hit someone, knock them absolute, and then you're eating a bunch of shotgun pellets. Also, you are just vulnerable to shotguns. You have to cross a like 5-6 meter gap with your shoulder charge animation, and sometimes good players are just gonna lay you out with a shotgun. That's definitely a risk. Also, on top of that, this is a risk and reward playstyle. If you go into a group of enemies to shoulder charge them, you're vulnerable. You're just hoping that your overshield, the health regen, the chaos of a Titan leaping into a group of people out of nowhere gives you the advantage. And that's why the build is set up in that way. What this means is that there is a big skill gap in when you decide to shoulder charge. You really do have to have a lot of map awareness, the ability to flank and roam and take your opportunity and use yourself to be that opportunistic pick class that the Peregrine Greaves allows you to be. If you don't pick your choice correctly, you're just gonna die and you've wasted a slot for your team. If you can be versatile, be aware, and pick and choose your timings correctly, these are almost guaranteed free kills. Another thing to mention, Peregrine Greaves also gives you plus 10 airborne effectiveness to all of your weapons at all times. That's like 2/3 of an Icarus grip. That's a free bonus that will always be active to you when you equip this exotic, so when your melee is on cooldown, or you're in a position where you can't go on the Crayola Crusade, you still have great neutral game benefits. And then lastly, the ability to pop supers is incredibly important in the context of high level play. Bubble, Well of Radiance, two of the most annoying supers to deal with in the game. Peregrine Greaves deals with them for free. For the low cost of 1 melee cooldown, you can send that well into the stratosphere. You can send that Bubble Titan capping that Trials camp point into the Nether Realm. It's easy, it's guaranteed, it's nearly unstoppable. It's the best well and bubble counter in the game. More so bubble because the bubble goes away instantly. Keep in mind, if you knock someone out of well and there's more teammates there, you have to try and delete the well itself faster. But another thing that helps you in that regard, volatility is spread to everyone else in that well, which makes them easier to kill out of it afterwards for your teammates. The last thing I want to touch on in this video is that Peregrine Greaves essentially acts as a 4th weapon. This means that your loadout diversity is really unique. You don't have to give up the viability of shotguns when you run a fusion rifle, or the effectiveness in close range from fusions or shotguns when you run a sniper rifle. You have a one-shot shotgun loaded into your kneecap as long as your melee is active, and that's huge for making you the most versatile into every gunfight you can be. I mean, just overall, I love this exotic. I think it's really fun. It makes the game more interesting, and now with Dune Marchers getting nerfed, OAM and Loreleys being very situational, and Syntheseps being for bad players in my opinion, I think at worst, Peregrine Greaves are a S tier exotic. They are in line with Dune Marchers now instead of being slightly worse. So get them, equip them, and piss off everybody in the lobby when you start chaining those shoulder charges. You'll have fun, trust me. But yeah, that's going to do it for us today, guys. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Helps out with the channel immensely. And I'll see you guys soon with another video or a live stream. You guys have a great day. Peace.